Welcome to North of the Broad. I'm Robyn Zimmerman, along with the Executive Director of the Pat Conroy Literary Center, Jonathan Haupt. And we are in the family room, and we're going to kind of walk around and show you some of these wonderful photographs and pictures and items that all represent the family of Pat Conroy.
That's right, absolutely.
So, happy holidays. It's good to
Happy holidays, Robyn.
So we are here in this corner with these beautiful portraits of Cassandra King and then Pat.
That's right. Both done by the same artist, Anthony Johnson, an African-American artist originally from Ohio who came here as a teenager. And when you're up close, as we are, you can see they're actually done with words. It's a style of artwork called Journal of Art. So Anthony didn't so much draw Pat as he wrote the portrait of Pat. In this particular case, using words from The Water is Wide, Pat's memoir of teaching on Defusky. He was 17 when he did the portrait of Pat, 19, so 2 years later when he did the portrait of Cassandra, which is done using words from her memoir called Tell Me a Story, which is about her marriage with Pat.
And did he use a photograph?
He did. He had a reference photo for both of them. And it's amazing how close he gets to that reference photo, doing it in a very intricate style.
So talented.
Absolutely.
And so intricate.
Yes.
Amazing. Let's just move over here
now
to
absolutely.
This beautiful, kind of the centerpiece of the family room is this beautiful quilt. And it is is the Citadel quilt, or is it more than just Citadel?
This was actually a birthday present for Pat, a 70th birthday present. So it has the number 70 down here on the bottom.
Very
and
good.
Pat's sister Kathy, who's the middle of the birth order. Pat was the oldest of 7. There they all are. Kathy right there made this as a birthday present for Pat. And right next to it right now, we have a photo of the family, so we can actually see all of the siblings and Pat's father, the Great Santini, Pat's mother, Peg Conroy, right there. But Kathy wanted to incorporate things that were related to Pat's life from boyhood to adulthood in the quilt to really cover the whole 70-year span of his life. So almost all of Pat's books are up here with their titles. And Story River Books, which was my partnership with Pat at USC Press, is here. The Citadel, where Pat went to college, of course. And then several businesses here in Beaufort, some that don't exist anymore, that were really central to Pat's boyhood as well.
Now, when she gave it to him, what was his reaction?
He was astonished. First of all, this was the first quilt that Kathy had ever made. And so he didn't know that she was capable of this. She did it with her teacher, I will point out. This was a sort of a student-mentor relationship that developed the quilt. But the thing that jumped out at him was the number 3, which was Pat's score in one of the standardized tests that they had to take when they arrived here at Beaufort.
Oh my
In mechanical aptitude, he was in the 3rd percentile. So to have that reminded to him on his 70th birthday.
And that his sister would remember that. That's wonderful. All right, let's move over here, Jonathan, to this amazing exhibit, including the flight jacket of the Great Santini, his father.
That's right. This is really an iconic part of the Pat Conroy legacy. Wendell Minor, the artist, used this jacket as the reference image for the cover of the Great Santini, and then later for the cover of The Death of Santini. We have Wendell's artwork here on the counter. We also have here surrounding us the ceremonial sword of the Great Santini here in the case, his burial flag. Don is buried just up the street from us in the Beaufort Memorial Cemetery. And we have right here on the wall his medals.
So how long was he in the Marines?
He was in the service for over 30 years.
Okay.
Yes, one of the most highly decorated Marine Corps fighter pilots of his generation.
And then, of course, there was the book came out, and then the film came out 3 years later, did you say?
That's right. The novel came out in 1976. It was Pat's 3rd book, first novel. And it was immediately adapted to film. Immediately in film production means 3 years later, 1979. But that was filmed right here in town, which is why so many of our tour guides can take you by locations related to that film, in particular the Green and Title Home, the house that also appears in The Big Chill several years later, which we have right here.
Was his father still alive when he wrote the book?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And what did he think? What did his father think of the book and then the movie?
Well, the great secret of the family is now made public information that Pat was raised as a child of abuse. Don's response to that was to prove Pat wrong by becoming the nicest, kindest version of himself he could be from that point onward. So he had this remarkable transformation, imperfect though it may have been. but it really gave the family the father they had always wished they had had.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. Don went to his grave thinking he made possible the career of Robert Duvall, that Duvall would have amounted to nothing in the absence of playing Bull Meacham in the film adaptation. So it's a big part of the family story.
The wonderful family story and the room. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing your insight into these wonderful artifacts. And we'll be right back with more North of the Broad. Don't go away.